Okay then. Alright, so basically what I'm trying to solve here is a high idle for these S10s, Sonomas, Colorados. It is a part of a normal routine procedure, especially for these 2x2 motors, to have to where the throttle body, a little valve that's right here, that's inside this thing, will probably get stuck at idle, and it usually is because of a carbon buildup. And whenever that happens, you basically whenever your vehicle is sitting there, it'll just stay stuck at high idle and all that. It's not that difficult to basically do to get this resolved, but there is a bit of a procedure to get to there, because with these kind of motors, you basically have to take it all apart just to get to it. So we're going to start pretty simple by getting this air box off. To get this air box off, you basically got to remove this and this. You could remove all this if you want to, but you typically don't. Usually this is good enough to remove. So these are 8mm. It's kind of like the patternless things that pretty much everything that involves the air, like the air system, usually involves 8mm bolts. So let's get this off here. Way. So let's get this off. That loose at least. And this is where, you know, removing all this could probably be helpful, but if you remove this, you got to undo the upper hose for the radiator, which involves coolant getting everywhere. Or at least having to deal with that. You can stick something underneath it, but it just gets a lot messier. I'm gonna see if I can get by without that. I've done it before without that, but we'll see. So far we get with it. So it's all loose now. Next after that, you gotta undo this bolt next, which should be a 10mm, I believe. I think that's all the bolts you gotta remove to get to there. Right off the top of my head. I mean, I haven't done this in a while, but you do need to do all that. Yeah, let's do that. Let's see. I think that's pretty much it here. Okay, so let me get that one off. It should be a 12 or 13, I think. Let's try 12. Try a 12. I mean, you don't need a lot of torque on that thing. Nope. It should be like a 10, 11 actually. Let's get that worked out. Oh, it's gonna be a 10 then. 10 it is. Where are you, 10? That one's missing. That's always fun. 10mm, 10mm, 10mm. Yeah. Lots of stragglers along my path of keeping this motor running. There's a 3/8 drive. So like I said, you know, typically you don't really need a lot of torque this thing off, but this will work too. So let's get this guy off. Hopefully the light comes through on this thing. Yeah, this bolt's rather long, so be ready for that. To me, some of these bolts sometimes are not designed to be excessively long and just annoying. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. Alright, should we just snake this thing out? Be careful though, because there are teeth around this thing, little plastic teeth around this air box. You can snap it if you bend it too much, and if it ends up happening, then you typically don't have as good of a seal around here, and you could possibly have a leak. I haven't had that problem before, but there's always a possibility of that. You know, it just not being seated properly and not being able to have enough proper air seal. Because I mean, any leak within the system is going to have issues with your motor, where you might have misfires, and it not being able to calculate, you know, has how much airflow going in and all that. So just, you know, just a warning for that. Let's see, I think that's pretty much it. Should we just work it out? Yeah, should we just slide on out? Unless there's, oh yeah, that's right. That's right, I'm an idiot. That is right, forgot. There is this thing over here. So this thing, that's right. Yep, there is a hose back here. Right. Pop this hose off. So if you see right here is a hose right here. That's right. It goes down into your valve cover. That's here. Yeah, a little bit of oil. You know, so you can tell it's definitely your valve cover and all that. But yeah, pop that thing loose. You can typically just pull it up. It's usually good enough to get it, you know, loose at the very least. You can also pull this hose out as well. It's not easy. It's a pretty good seal on that thing. But yeah, you can try to smooth it, try to get it out somehow. Let's see. I mean, there is a clamp on that thing, but that clamp's never been really helpful whenever I remove that thing, because a hose is usually pretty well on there. Let's see if I can get it out without too much hassle. Trying to think here. Trying to do this carefully without causing too much damage. Okay, I got that thing loose. There we go. See what I'm doing here? I'm pulling it this way, and I'm pulling this thing up and out of the way, and I'm gonna get this thing kind of like loose and out of here. So I'm gonna snake it out of here and all that. Requires a little bit of finesse, but you know, you should be able to just get it out without too much issue. Getting it back in is always gonna be the hard part. That's gonna be like the difficult part. See these little guys right here? You easily snap these things. I've done it before, because this is not the original. I've had a, again, I mean, I learned that the hard way. Alright, that's out of the way. Now we're getting to air intake. Yeah, it's like the intake manifold is another way I've heard it described. Yeah, it's just a little rubber seal. Plastic bits go in here, and then this rubber kind of goes over that. And if you break one of those little plastic pieces, you could have an issue. But for the most part, from my experience, this has usually been able to do a pretty good job of keeping it sealed up, but still. Alright, so this is out of the way. Don't lose it, obviously. Okay, so now we're getting to here. So what your problem is that like you'll have to where this thing ends up being stuck kind of more open than it used to. You got your bypass around here, and all that, which isn't that big of a deal, but I mean, the easy way is just to push this thing open, get your little brush in there with some solvent to brush up the carbon. But I'm going to try to get into it where I'm going to clean the backside of it as well, because you'll probably see there's going to be a lot of carbon buildup and all that. What's going to be tricky is having it to where these TV cables don't get all messed up and all that. That's to me like the difficult part about it, because like that is what controls your cruise control. I don't know which one's which, but one of them is your cruise control. The other one's going to be attached to your foot pedal. And again, that not like they're tuned a certain way, and if you mess that up somehow, then your your idle and everything else is going to be all thrown off and all that. So it's going to be difficult to unmess it up and all that. So it's best just to try to get this thing right and not mess it up and all that. And it'll probably actually end up involving just doing this procedure while still in the engine bay instead of taking the whole thing out and all that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove these hoses out of here. I'm going to unplug this. Well, I'm going to take out the electrical pieces first. Disconnect that. Disconnect your throttle sensor. This is your throttle body sensor, and this is your throttle positioning sensor. That's here. You'll probably have to replace this at some point in the future because it'll, again, it's another issue that'll end up coming up where your vehicle will start acting weird. Usually, so these things are usually different sizes. So putting these back shouldn't be that difficult. However, taking a photo isn't a bad idea either. No, I mean, if you try to put this in this one, for instance, it won't fit. But taking a photo isn't that bad idea either. So let's pop these out, just like that. So obviously, make sure to put them back because I mean these are all vacuum lands that are very that are required for the function of your motor. But yeah, I just need to take this one off, and I should be able to just take the bolts off of here, and I should be able to just expose the back part of this. So let me get my tool to get this thing loose and all that. Let me turn it off for now. Alright, I got my little tool. I've tried pliers and all that other stuff, and like it never really works for me. This thing has been the most invaluable thing I've invested in. It's time saving. The problem with pliers is that those things always slip off. Or this stuff right here, you see, I just grip it on, and then I can spend more of my strength maneuvering this stuff. Because sometimes these little spring holders on it, like it don't really just slide along the rubber, especially when you deal with older cars like this, where they've been sitting in one spot for decades or whatever, and then they finally get moved around and whatever and all that. All right, next we're gonna then let's see. We're then going to, I think it should be actually it might be a 10 actually. Memory serves me right. Yep, they are 10s. Sweet. Should be, I think, 3. Possibly 4. Yeah, 4 actually. 4 in here. So, obviously, always check it to make sure it's going to be turning left. Turn left. Not right, left. Or counterclockwise. I don't know what the torque foot-pounds are for these things, but snug is usually just good enough, because I mean you don't need to have it super tight. The main thing, if I were making a guess, it'll probably be around like 8, which is basically snug. At that point, you're just trying to break the damn thing, which you don't want to do. One of the main places you do not want to strip a bolt is going to be this stuff right here. You can see here, yeah, this goes to the TV cables and all that. I'm going to do what I can to not disconnect them. Okay, so I'm trying to get in here. I'm going to try to have it to where I just get some seafoam, a brush, and I just scrub off all the carbon off the back. And then we'll be good. This bolt out of the way. Some of these bolts are different sizes. I think the top 2 ones are long and the bottom 2 are short. So should be pretty much good. Yeah, sometimes the tool will do that, especially if it's like old and worn out or cheap. So let's be aware of that before we start cranking away at a place that resists. Again, you don't want to over tighten this stuff and then strip it. It's going to turn this procedure into a much longer day. You know what? So get this thing loose. You see, it's kind of coming off already. Yeah, when I first learned how to do this sort of thing, yeah, like I was actually considering being able to pop off those TV cables. I learned just don't mess with them, because these little plastic bits, they will age, they will fall apart. Yeah, so you see here, they're shorter compared to those ones. So these are the top two are longer, the bottom ones are shorter. Come on, baby. There we go. Hopefully the camera captures I mean, I'm not sure these cameras are not really known to have like really good, well, from what I've been told, they haven't really been good on being able to capture a good camera light release. But I don't know, I mean, I've had pretty good success so far. We'll see. We'll see. There we go. Got the last one off. Cool. Get this out of the way. Let's check out the back. Alright, you see there's a little bit of carbon right here, carbon ring here and all that. And yeah, like basically what the problem is with these motors, that like the intake comes in, you get your combustion on it. What ends up happening is that you end up having a blowback from the exhaust manifold. This is just how it is and all that, but this is pretty much where you're gonna get to now. I just need to get the brush and start scrubbing away at this sort of thing here. See, it's just all carbon. So let's get the scrubbing and cleaning, and we'll be pretty good. All right, gotta go drink. Clean my hands a little bit just so I can make sure I can have a, I don't want to add more carbon to the mix there. So I've kind of gotten into using seafoam. It's pretty good. I don't use it for gas. I mean, my experience hasn't really helped out, and there's plenty of YouTubers out there that have kind of covered like it's not that good of a material, or of a gas additive to help clean out your cylinders and whatnot. So I just use it for cleaning stuff like this and all that. So don't use steel. Use like a brass or bronze. It's a softer metal. Pretty sure that's steel, but it can also be cast iron or aluminum. This is still softer than all that, so you won't be damaging and causing more issues with your vehicle. Since I'm not going to be removing this and I'm not messing with those TV cables, I'm basically just going to clean it as is right here. So you gotta have a little tray if you want to dip it. You also just use this as well. It's fine. But I'm just gonna scrub, just put a little bit on there. So I don't want to get this stuff everywhere. So I get this right here and just start scrubbing away in here. So my brush is better, but I just happen to have this brush lying around. Yeah, obviously move it a little bit if you can. Spring does get in the way sometimes. Just scrub this guy down. Pretty much how that is. Get in there and scrub. And I mean, obviously don't use water, because I mean, water you're gonna cause more issues down the road. Just use solvent. It'll either evaporate at best, or at worst, it'll just get sucked in and detonated later on down the road, and you don't have to worry about it as much. But yeah, if you can, try to open it up here or something, so I can get this thing to cooperate. Yeah, see, there's little plastic bits right here. You don't want to mess with that, or disconnect it here, because these little plastic bits are kind of delicate, and taking them off is a very risky procedure. If not, you're basically at best trying to find this vehicle in a junkyard to try to get a replacement of that, and that's a huge pain in the ass. Sometimes these junkyards will not have this vehicle inventory, and then from that you'll have you'll be just stuck because the manufacturer won't have this, and you're out of luck from all that. So anyways, see if we can get her more open here. There we go. Yeah, there's a nice little ring around there. I'm trying to get in here, so let's get in here. Push, there we go. I see that little ring right there. I'm trying to clean up a little bit. There you go. Yeah, see how nice little carbon ring gone? That's one big source of this thing being stuck open. So, and solvent does help dissolve all that carbon. I mean, you could just clean that ring and then call it in the day, but I like to clean the whole thing, both ends, to really make sure it's going to be not stuck. I'm most surprised there's the bottom one than the top one, because I mean, this is probably where you're going to be to where like the carbon builds up, and then you're basically kind of like the valve's kind of like stuck open like that and all that. So, all right, I think that's pretty much it. Because I mean, there's some carbon up there. Gotta clean, gotta clean some of that, just to be sure. All right, so I can get into there here. There we go. Now we're talking. Clean that whole damn ring. Yeah, this has to be done every so often. So before I start turning stuff out and replacing parts and all that, this is just pretty much what you're gonna end up having to do as you deal with this thing. Cause like you know, it could be your ignition system, it could be your gas flow, it could be your airflow. This is another, yeah, don't get your fingers caught. That's a close one for my fingers. The spring's not that strong, but it is rather annoying whenever it gets in there. But yeah, clean this up, pretty much clean. All right, let's get this reassembled now. So let's get it reassembled. Obviously, you know, check to make sure there's no paper. You don't want to have any other junk. The whole point of this whole thing was just to eliminate junk. You don't want to add junk in there. All right, got that carbon cleaned up. Your TV antennas are laying flat and straight. This bracket goes over this like so. So let's get this back in place. I pretty much target the top ones or the bottoms because of this extra piece right here. But if I were to, well, whenever we tighten this thing down, I'm gonna crisscross it to make sure it lays flat. So let's get this top piece. Actually, let's do the hard one first, which is gonna be the back one over here. This back piece in place. Feed it there, and then you feed it into here. Right there, just like that. Just hand thread it. Don't use a tool yet, because you not want to cross thread this thing too well. The thing you just do not want to deal with. I haven't cross threaded anything yet, because I've gotten into the habit just because I mean your fingers are not going to be nearly as strong as a tool to get this in place. Okay, that should be good enough. All right, let's get the other one. Drop the one down here. Ooh. All right, let's get this next one installed. Another little tip too, these things, these should be steel or at least ferrous. So because of that, you should be able to just get a little magnet tray. Those are always helpful to be able to handle this, but since I'm only just dealing with like a handful of bolts, I mean, I pretty much, you know, don't have to worry about it nearly as much. I'm not organizing nearly as much. All right, got this guy in here. Bottom ones. Just, again, hand thread all this stuff. Make sure it's done in right before you start putting torque into it. Again, it's slower, but it saves you time, because if you cross thread this stuff, busting out well, either rethreading or what do you call it, a tap and die set and all that, like that's a lot more problem, and they still have to do all this anyway. So spending a little bit of time saves you a bunch of time. Just got a feel for the last one back there. Got a feel for it. Let me position myself again over here. Yeah, I should be right about there. There we go. And thread that sucker in there. I mean, yeah, I mean, also, I mean, one procedure I didn't do, which technically could get me in trouble, but I have not yet had that problem. Because, like, well, because technically, since you are dealing with electrical right here, it'll be good to disconnect the battery, but I've never had that problem there. Either I'm lucky or it's just over precaution. Alright, so then tighten it down. The other thing you could do too is just use your hands as well. This is still more strong, a lot more powerful than just your fingers alone. So I'm going bottom up. I mean, you can do that multiple ways. You can go bottom up, down, doesn't matter. But I'm just trying to make sure I get a nice good seal on this thing. When you're doing with stuff like this, it's usually a good idea to always do that. To have that crisscross stuff in a way. The valve cover is a different story too. You gotta like go in the middle and then expand outward and all that. Try to make sure you have a nice, good, proper seal on the thing. But that's gonna be a different day, already. So I gotta print another 20,000 miles before I bother with that, according to my service logs. All right, let's turn it down just a little bit. Yeah, just snug. That's all you need. Just snug. Snug enough. You do not need to torque this stuff down at all. This is not it's just to keep the air in. It's not really under compression or supporting anything. No need to start cranking it out. Snug is good. Like an eighth of a churn or something like that. Usually enough. That's pretty much it. All right. So, I mean, especially this one right here, this would be a good idea to put this back in place, because putting this back in with the airbox in the way is just a huge pain in the ass. So you're better off just putting that in place and all that. You can do this later because the airbox is going to be out of the way. But this right here in particular, it will be a, you know, because like you're going to see it's going to be a bit of a struggle to get the airbox back in. And having to take that out and put it back in again, it's just going to be a huge pain in the ass. It'd be easier to put that in there. So let's get the airbox in. So how I've always done it is a pusher from this side of the vehicle. That way I at least see what's going on behind there. Also we'll get this guy in there. Oh yeah. Yeah, see, it's a little crack in there. I haven't had a problem so far, I think, but yeah, I mean, this is probably from the just age. But alright, let's get this out of the way. So how I've always done it is try to get this thing in there first, or at least working this little back piece back here. Get that in there first, and then from there try to push this thing down a little bit, and then slowly work its way in there at the very least. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. I'm an idiot. Get this in place actually. So the way to do it, which side you know for sure it's the correct one, is, see, there's nothing here. There's a slit here. The slit is what allows this thing to go in place. So I forgot that. So let's do this correctly and not mess this up. All right, get this right, and get this piece this way. That way you can actually reach with your tool to tighten it down, because that does need to be tightened down. Not a lot, but it does need to be tightened down. So you slip that over there, turn it like this. You got the little slit right there. Cool. So let's get this in place now. Let's try this again. Oh. All right, now we just lower her in. Let's get a good light in there. Okay, just like that. Just gotta work her in carefully. All right, I was able to push that thing in. Now let's just slide this thing in now, carefully. Place the back pieces in. I just need to get this other piece in there instead. These tools out of the way. And whenever you're done with the tools, usually a good idea is just to get them out of the way. That way they don't cause them more trouble than what they're worth. Yeah, let me get this thing in place here. Slowly work her in. Yeah, this is probably the most pain in the ass part of the whole thing, is just right here. Just getting this in place without breaking the plastic. Oh, alright, come on baby, get in there. This guy also help out too sometimes. Pop that in. But just getting this back in place carefully. And this has to go all the way in to where you can't really see these divot points and all that. It has to slip all the way in there. So that's, again, the whole procedure here. This is probably the most tedious part of the whole procedure here. I mean, this right here. Close this up before I cause a spill. Be causing more trouble than what it's worth. Okay, so let's go here. Come on, baby. There we go. So I'm picking it up a little bit, kind of working it in carefully. You want to do is you don't want to be doing this too much. You want to kind of like keep it kind of going that direction. There we go. That's all the way in now. Yeah, it's pretty much all the way in. As far as it'll go. All right, we're good. Yeah, all right, we're nice and seated in. Check the back as well and make sure everything's seated in as well. It should be, this thing should be flush down there. You shouldn't be able to see it, feel the little piece of tool that's there. It shouldn't be popping out and all that. So you should be good on that. But alright, let's get this. Let's take care of the other piece now. Alright. Let's get this back installed. So there's one right here. So this one goes back here. This goes to the, I think the HVAC, I think, something like that. I can't remember how everything, where everything goes off the top of my head. And this goes here, the bigger one, and there's a smaller one around here somewhere. Here we go. This one goes right here. There's one more here. Goes back here somewhere. There we go. This guy. Yeah, it's in place. Let me get our tool to, again, I mean, I've bought multiple of these to make sure I always have them, because these little springs are such a huge pain in the ass. Again, pliers are nice and all, even groove pliers and all, but these are just much nicer, much easier to see. No effort whatsoever. Obviously, plug this thing on top of here. And then you're pretty much good as far as I can check. Oh yeah, and then of course, obviously you need to tighten everything down after that. So let's put this in there in place. So it should seat flush. Let's get our 8mm bolts. Tighten down. Yeah, these are old tools. I've had these for forever. Yeah, man, like you don't need I mean, these are Stanley tools. I don't know when they made them. I don't know where they made them. Probably American made, probably Chinese made. I don't know when Stanley got bought out by whatever. Because I think Stanley, Craftsman, someone else was like all owned by the same company. But yeah, there's another thing to snug it. It should be good enough. Nice and snug. Snug is good enough. You don't need to have anything too crazy here. Just snug. And then there's one more bolt here. This guy, 10mm. Let's put it in place. That's another way. Also another way to check the alignment of this thing is to see if this bolt will fit in place on it, because it should just fit straight in as it is and all that. So I'm doing this right here just so I can just get in a because like my fingers can't reach that far down into there, not very easily. This may be out of alignment. That's another, again, it's another way, because like everything fits just so. If you do it wrong, then you're going to be out of alignment, these parts and all that, and you're gonna have a lot of issues down the road. Maybe I didn't put it all in. It looks all in. Let's see. Let's take a look down here. Should be just straight on. Let's take a look. Yeah, I got no threading in there. All right, let's see if I can go in here. Take a look down here. Yeah, it's still like this. So I think I probably need a little bit more movement in there. So correction, I may just loosen this up a little bit. And probably still need more room to work with. Yeah, show it a little more that way on the looks of it. Let's try this again. Yeah, okay. So I was a little off. No biggie. But again, I mean, that's another check to make sure that you're seated all the way in. Is this right here. This is like another check you can use. Seems to be threading in. Yeah, looks to be about right. Okay. Alright, note to self. Actually, no, let me do this correctly. Let me just put it in my hand and then just snug it up. Pretty much like that. Pretty much seated in there. Yep, snug. Alright, let's snug up that piece again. Oop, wrong way. Alright, we should be good. Alright, that's it. That's pretty much the whole procedure. With a few little mistakes here and there, but other than that, yeah, so you gotta just do this every so often. Again, like, I mean, before some messing with parts, try this first, and then if this doesn't help, if you still have a high idle after all that, okay, then start looking into everything else. But this is a very easy, relatively simple fix on that. I mean, what you're seeing here is pretty much like 99% of the whole procedure time to get this done. Other than that, though, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.